Hello, I'm Frank Pullia. I'm your host for Community Profiles, and with us tonight is Courte Elinesky. Barbara, you were at the forum tonight when you heard the candidates speak, presenting their views, election platform. No, you are in the industry. You own your own company. You're in the exploration and mining sector. What was it that you liked, that you didn't like about what you heard tonight?
One of the things I didn't like is that I didn't hear any incentive for exploration to be brought back to Ontario. Everybody always talks about the Ring of Fire. They did mention today about other projects that are happening that need to move forward. Another thing too is exploration is dead in Ontario, which is really scary because in the last 2 years, any junior company trying to raise money is unable to raise any money at the moment. So the government needs to go and see what they can do to give them incentives to drill, to go look for mineralization in Ontario. Unfortunately, due to the markets, but also there's other issues in Ontario that make it very hard for juniors to go and get claims and mining permits and everything else. So I'd really like to see the government address that. You
mentioned commodity prices, so it's not, the government can only do so much, right? There's the industry, the prices are being affected by that, so the money dries up because there's a risk element. But you're saying that the government can do something, and they have a role to play, and the role is to provide some incentives so that juniors can survive and continue to explore, because that's the pipeline, right? If exploration stops, and then once the mines that we have already in production end this life cycle, and then there's nothing behind.
Yeah, and then we have job loss. So I figure, like, it's been really quiet for 2 years. The incentive that they can give is tax breaks. We have flow-through that's in place right now, but sometimes you might have to boost up the ante doing a super flow-through, whether or not that'll work. And we need to clean up, you know, there is some problems with the government introduced a new mining, changes to our Mining Act. There's problems with it, and the companies don't know how to deal with it. So they need to go and rectify some of the problems, clean it up, and make Ontario open for business.
I assume that there was sufficient consultation with the mining companies if they're going to change the Mining Act. Where was the pressure coming from in terms of the changes? And you know, what needs to be fine-tuned so that, as you say, the industry can move quickly and freely towards maximizing the huge potential that we have here in Northern Ontario?
Northwestern Ontario is very rich and is underexplored as far as I'm concerned. We have so much potential. If the climate was now, when the Ring of Fire was discovered, we would not have a Ring of Fire because there's no new projects, there's no exploration going on. If we don't look, we'll never find. So we need to go start looking again and do whatever we can. And again, you know, when we look at Red Lake, we look at Marathon, you've got Hemlo that's going to be closing down. What's next? Like, when Hemlo closes down, what are we going to do after that? The people in Marathon are in trouble. We need to have Stillwater going. If it's Stillwater is going to take 5 years to get going again, then you're going to have 5 years of people leaving Marathon. So then you'll have a ghost town again. So these are things that it's like, you know, it's all about balance.
But we heard that there were almost 10 mines ready to go in production. So you're saying that some of them are not moving as quickly as they could, and because of commodity prices being lower than they could be, they're holding back. Cliffs has left. But there are other mine companies. It's not just a Ring of Fire.
There's advanced projects. A lot of them are stuck on the environmental assessment stage where it's not moving as fast as they want it to. And again, in the mining industry, time is of the essence. So when you look at Cliffs leaving, there was a lot of indication they were going to leave. So when I hear the politicians talk about the Ring of Fire, which is fine, yeah, there is a Ring of Fire, but it's a chromite deposit, and the chromite deposit is owned by Cliffs, and Cliffs is gone. So we have Noront, and now when I look at them doing the infrastructure, the exploration will come back. If the road is being built, you're going to see the mining companies coming and putting claims on that. And on the surrounding areas because you have access to it. When you don't have access, you kind of leave it off. We were lucky that they did go and look at the Ring of Fire and they found it. But I want to see cliffs come back. You know, I think we all do, but there's a lot of problems. One of the problems is the Far North Act again. You know, how are we going to deal with that? We have to go and abolish that Far North Act. It's and then we need to step up to the plate, do the infrastructure, and hopefully things come back. The markets, the price of gold is having trouble. It's the world economy is, you know, when the world is at war, the price of gold goes up.
So you're saying we need to be ready for when the price of gold comes back up. You're ready.
We have to be ready. I think now is the time. It's, you know, they call it the calm before the storm. I think we need to get ready. We need to get our children trained. We need to look at the jobs and make sure that those jobs, they're talking about 5,000 jobs, they go to people in northwestern Ontario, not anywhere else.
And that means training, apprenticeship programs, you know, so you're ready to enter that workforce. Because it's not just mining underground. There is a need for even accountants, cooks, chefs, security, all kinds of jobs are available.
It's, you know, when you look at the amount of people and job opportunities for the mining industry, you have security guards, like you're right, accountants, people working in a warehouse, heavy equipment operators, technicians, mechanics, all of that stuff is required. I don't think we, you know, pretty soon, if we're not careful, we're going to pay more for a plumber than we will pay for a lawyer.
Well,
don't tell that to,
no, we won't tell that to the lawyers.
Or my plumber.
So basically, we need to be prepared. Let's take advantage of the slowdown in the mining exploration, but let's make sure the government listens to people like you in the industry who are in the front lines, that are telling them specific, you know, things that need to be dealt with. Obstacles that need to be removed. So the road is paved when the price of materials comes up, the price of gold, so we can move fast forward into realizing those opportunities.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and right now it's time to get working on them, put the foundation down, and get, again, mining readiness, getting Ontario and Thunder Bay, northwestern Ontario ready for the boom. I'm hoping it's going to come soon, but again, we do have to lobby the government to make sure that we support mining, and a lot of times people think mining is so bad, but it's not. And if you own a cell phone, you know, you support mining, and we need to stop going and getting, you know, somebody trying to pull the wool over our eyes, because we need it. And I got to tell you, I believe that northwestern Ontario, northern Ontario, will lead the way to get Ontario out of the deficit through our natural resources.
And Southern Ontario politicians should be listening, because now there's a great opportunities for us in Northern Ontario to lead the way to help them solve their financial problems. Yeah. So it's great to have been able to talk with you tonight, get your insight. Frontline, you have a very good understanding. Obviously, you are a successful businesswoman. You also are in the executive of Women in Mining. You know, congratulations. You also won the Influential Women Award
a few years
ago for Northern Ontario. So you are a trailblazer. You are mover and shaker. And I hope the politicians are listening and our viewers appreciate what you had to say tonight.
Well, I do have a big mouth, so, you know, if they don't listen, we'll make them listen.
Thank you, Barbara. Thanks a lot.
Frank.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay, great talking to you.
Yeah, that was fun.